Alright, so this ED Talk covers chapters 3, 4, and 5, which pretty much explored the ideas of creating a learning environment, building bridges, and liberating the curriculum. So I'll start with creating an environment for learning. So what this chapter pretty much discussed was how we should be able to create a positive learning environment for our students. We want them to feel comfortable in the classroom and feel valued, because it is very important for students to feel valued and appreciated. And one way the author talked about in doing this was posting all of their projects or work on the walls. Students will feel appreciated if they see their work on the wall displayed for everyone else to see. The author also spoke about how not only can you fill your classroom walls with work that your students have done, but you can also post pictures of women in non-traditional roles or minority groups engaged in productive work. This will allow for students to see that people just like them have done things that maybe they've thought about doing but have been told they can't because they're women or belong to a minority group. For instance, in math is generally dominated by men, yet women are equally capable of doing such work. And by having pictures of women doing math or being an engineer will allow for the females in your classroom to be open and see that they too can do this, that not just because they're women means that they're not capable of doing things that in quote unquote only men can do. So then again, closing up this chapter, it's pretty much just saying that we need to make a classroom environment a learning laboratory, an active workshop for discovery. We need to create an environment where our students will learn and grow. So then the next chapter was talking about building bridges. What this is pretty much discussing is how we need to be culturally aware. We need to learn about different cultures and understand that students are different and they come from different backgrounds. They have different beliefs, and that's okay. We need to appreciate these beliefs rather than put them down. But again, it's about taking the time to learn about these cultures, because then if we're culturally aware, we can incorporate these different values into our curriculum. For instance, in the book, they talked about the passage from childhood to adulthood and how one teacher was able to incorporate this into the classroom, and as a project had different students, or had their students come up with different ideas of how they would explain going from childhood to adulthood. Again, this isn't something that is written in the standards, but it is a very great way to incorporate culture into the classroom and have a great learning experience out of it. Again, the main point here is for teachers to be willing to learn, because the more they're willing to learn about the different cultures, the more they'll be able to understand their students. And that is one of the most important things as a teacher, to be able to have that strong relationship with your students. And what better way to have that than to be aware of their background and where they come from, what they believe. It'll only make you a better teacher for that. And finally, it talked about liberating the curriculum. Again, this pretty much stresses the idea of how you need to find ways as a teacher to make your curriculum engaging for your students. Nowadays, they talk a lot about standards and how you need to do this and you need to be on the same page, but if teachers too often get too caught up with the standards and end up not getting across to their students, and that's not okay. You as a teacher need to find a way to connect with your students and teach, because at the end of the day, what you want to get across to your students is that knowledge is vast and open-ended, that it's not strictly, oh, this is it, this is what you need to learn. No, you as a teacher need to guide them, and liberating the curriculum is one way to do it. So that's my ED Talk. Thank you. Thank you.